What happens when you stop paying power bills for years? Many years ago, I worked for a local power company that mainly serviced rural customers. I live in Australia, and our states are extremely large. Because of the long distances involved, it was usually not practical to send staff to a property unless it was part of a scheduled meter reading or a confirmed fault. Customers regularly called the phone number printed on their power bill. Most of the time, they believed something was wrong with their charges. In many cases, the explanation was simple. During summer, temperatures often reached over 40 degrees Celsius, and people ran multiple air conditioners at the same time. This caused power usage to increase sharply, leading to higher bills. Other times, customers called because they believed they had lost power completely. One day, a customer called the helpline. We will call him Mike. His call was answered by one of our phone operators, Julie. From the very start, Mike was angry. He did not ask whether there was a fault or an outage in his area. Instead, he immediately accused the company of shutting off his power and demanded that it be restored that same day. Julie followed the required steps. She checked the system for outages, weather damage, and planned maintenance. She then politely asked Mike to check whether his neighbors still had electricity. Mike refused to cooperate and became louder and more aggressive. He insisted that the company had deliberately disconnected him and claimed it was against the law. While Julie stayed calm and professional, she also reviewed the account history. She noticed that the property had been disconnected twice before due to unpaid bills. This explained why the power was off, but Mike refused to accept that answer. As the call continued, Mike demanded to speak to a supervisor and used abusive language. Julie explained that she could transfer the call or send the account to the compliance department for a full review. Believing this would force the company to reconnect his power, Mike demanded the review. The case was then passed to my team. I worked in compliance, which meant our job was not to reconnect electricity, but to make sure the company followed the law and to recover unpaid money. Before calling Mike back, I reviewed the full account history. This took over an hour. What I found was not a simple missed payment, but a long pattern of unpaid bills. Later that day, I called Mike. I introduced myself and explained that I needed to confirm his identity before discussing the account. After verifying his details, I told him that there were serious issues with the property's power history. I asked whether he was related to another person who had previously held the account. He confirmed it was his brother. I then asked about another name listed on past accounts, which he admitted was a close family member. I explained that the property had been disconnected 16 times for unpaid bills. Over several years, the account had been opened and closed under different family members' names. Each time the power was restored, bills were ignored until the account was disconnected again. I also explained that we had checked public property records. These records showed that the house had never been sold or transferred during this time. This meant the same household was repeatedly opening new accounts to avoid paying the old ones. Mike became angry and said the unpaid bills were not his responsibility. He also complained that we had no right to review property records. I explained that this was part of a lawful account investigation. I then informed him that the total unpaid balance across all accounts linked to the property was $6,937.44. Because of the repeated non-payment and account switching, the property had now been flagged. Power would not be restored unless the full amount was paid or legal proof of a property sale was provided. Mike argued that the power could not be disconnected for that reason. I calmly explained that under the Electricity Act of 1996, the company was allowed to disconnect power in cases of deliberate non-payment. I clearly outlined the steps required to restore service and informed him that he would receive written notice by registered mail. I then ended the call. As an added safeguard, I placed a note on the account stating that any future service at that property would require the maximum security deposit allowed by law, even if the debt was paid. Julie later received a commendation for handling the original call professionally, staying calm under pressure, and following correct procedure from start to finish.